Let's roll. Cyndi, thank you so much for sacrificing yourself for the good of everyone. You asked a question, you're working on your business page, and you said, well, should I be operating on my personal page? So that's the question that we are going to tackle, because I'm getting that question every single day in email. I want to make sure to help, and I want to coach you personally through your situation. So how does that sound?
Sounds perfect. Thank you for
Okay, cool. So tell me more, give me some background on why you asked that question.
Well, so I've been trying to get a business page up and running. I don't know, I've had one for about a year, and then doing some of the social media coaching with you, I've kind of created a new one. And I find that I get to the point where I can't get any more engagement, and I can put something on my business page and get crickets, but then I can put it on my personal page and it's like, you know, I get a ton of engagement. So it just makes me wonder if, because I'm getting engagement on my personal page, should I look at that as more of an option, because the business side is just so hard to get people to interact with. Okay. And in a lot of cases, it's the same people. You know, some of it's my friends are on both of them, but they'll comment on my personal where they won't on the business side.
Yeah. Okay. So let's jump in, answer that question.
All right.
Now, why are you not posting on your personal page?
I think just the concern of repelling probably too many people, that because I have a lot of people that homeschool that connect with me from that reason, and so I've just, I don't know, maybe I'm just weird about it.
Well, I didn't say post about your business. I said posting in general.
Oh, well.
So, okay, so pause for a second if you guys are listening or watching this. Do you see how Cyndi naturally, Cyndi, do you see how you naturally gravitated toward thinking that was my question? So before you answer, let me take one step back. What do you think posting about the business, or what do you think that even means?
Well, like right now, I just got something in the mail that I'm really excited about, because it's like one of my all-time favorite scents that they came out with a kit for, and it just came in the mail, so I'm really excited about it. Mm-hmm. And part of me is like, well, I should share that on my personal page, because I am really super excited. In fact, my team jokes that I willed this into existence because it's something that came out last year and I loved it, and so I was really anticipating it for Mother's Day this year, and they didn't come out with it, so I was kind of on a rant, and then they came out with it as a part of the BOGO week, and then they came out with an entire like kit for it, and so my team jokes that I willed it into existence. So I'm really excited about this kit, and I do want to share that, but it just feels weird to do that on my personal page.
Okay. All right. So what about posting not about, not about, air quotes, if you're listening to the audio, about your business? What's hard for you about posting on your personal page, period?
Sometimes I feel like my life isn't interesting enough for people to care about. I mean, if I have like, you know, yeah, if there's a birthday or, you know, an event going on, then yeah, I can post about that, and I do. But, you know, if it's just like a normal day, you know, sometimes I just don't think I'm interesting.
I am not going to pursue that line of thinking. So, but I will sort of solve it in the time that we have. Okay.
Okay.
So funny you mentioned that because I was 100% certain that would be the biggest objection in the course that I just put together. So to prove the point, and Cyndi, you have access to the course, and if you guys are listening, we'll make sure you know how to get this course. I brainstormed 15 social media posts from this super exciting day. I had coffee and breakfast. I got my blood drawn. I worked on my social media course. I walked the dog. I started looking at our new tech system. I skipped a workout. I had leftover tacos. I watched Netflix. I walked the dog again. Now, can you think of a day more boring than that? Okay.
Probably, but
I mean, it'd be pretty difficult to come up with a day more boring than that. I mean, I was bored at the end of the day, and that's why I knew this had to be. I was like, this is my life, seriously. I was able to brainstorm 15 different posts, hitting all 5 categories that probably would have gotten engagement. And so we have a couple of options for you today for this coaching. One is I can do a feedback on your page. However, most of the people that are listening wouldn't be able to do it. Or, see it. I mean, I would explain it. So we can do a little bit of that and set up your page. Or we could take a boring day and brainstorm some posts together that would be fun, that would be interesting, and so on. Which would you prefer?
I guess let's take a boring day because I think I have a lot of those.
Okay. Is that your biggest obstacle?
Yeah, I think it is.
And then sort of working in the business piece without being a weirdo.
Right.
Okay, super. So let me take a step back and just explain to you one concept I think is going to be really helpful. And it's the difference between networking, prospecting, and advertising. So these 3 activities are different and their targets are different. And many people, when they start in business, they kind of lump them all in as social media. And if you don't know what you're trying to do with your social media, how will other people know what you're trying to do with your social media? So advertising is something a business does, right? They pay money so that you can see the message with the intention of you moving to the next step in their sales process. So, for example, if I am watching TV and a car commercial comes up, right, they have paid money for that advertisement to interrupt my Hulu watching, and with the intention that I will see that and perhaps go to their website and check out more, or go in and do a test drive if I'm in the target market, right? That's one thing. Prospecting is outreach to what you would call leads, people who have raised their hand and they're interested in your product. And so you take all these people that have raised their hand and you reach out to them and reach out to them and reach out to them until you find out if they would like to take the next step. But there is a piece of consent there that is required in that. I guess there's a 4th thing too. Canvassing is a 4th option. And what canvassing is what you would consider to be cold calling. So there's no consent. You're just basically, hi, would you like to talk? Hi, would you like to talk? That is what like the solar panel people do, or pest control when they're going through your neighborhood. They're doing what's called canvassing. No consent. You don't know them, right? There's no relationship at all. You're just seeing what you can hit. And then the other thing is networking. So we have, and that's building relationships with social or professional contacts in order to see if an exchange of value can occur. So we have networking, we have canvassing, we have prospecting, and we have advertising. Okay, how are we doing so far?
Good.
Okay, super. Which one of those are you doing on a Facebook business page?
On a business page, you can be doing advertising, and you might be doing some prospecting.
Right, little bit, but probably not enough for like 50 outreaches a day or something,
Right.
right?
Right.
Like maybe, but mostly it's going to be advertising and maybe prospecting, right on. What would you be doing on your personal page?
Networking.
Networking, not prospecting,
Right.
and not advertising.
Right.
So how does that feel?
That feels good. Then you run into the question of how to bring the business into the conversation, though.
Sure, but you know, most people know how to network-ish. So if you were to go to a networking event, most people sort of know how to navigate that. You're getting to know people. Networking, right? You go to your kids' sporting events, you end up talking to one of the soccer moms, that's networking. We know how to navigate those situations more than we think. We act like we don't just because it's virtual, but you do know.
Yeah.
Right? You know how if you're at a birthday party and you're talking to people, that in fact is networking. Now, you might not call it that, but that's what it is, and it's not a bad thing, right? Because it might be for social networking as well. It's basically social networking versus professional networking. And you guys know how to handle that situation,
Yes.
right? So you
Yes.
do know, but when you're networking, you have to be able to start conversations and you need to be able to be relatable. So can you think of the last person you networked with?
Yes.
Okay, so tell me the situation.
So my daughters got asked to go do some modeling for a friend's makeup line. And so they went and did that. And while they were doing their piece, then I was talking to some other people, doing some networking on the side.
Great. Was it social networking or was it
Yes.
professional networking or kind of a mix of both?
It just ended up being social networking. It didn't end up, there wasn't an opening really for me to go talk about the business
Right.
side.
Right. Okay, good. So in that scenario, what I would recommend that you do when you're social networking and what would be appropriate to say, it's been so nice to meet you. Would you guys like to connect on Facebook?
Oh, okay.
Right? Social networking.
Okay.
Like, look, we met each other. Now we're friends. What's your name? I'll friend you on Facebook. Now we can stay connected without having to like call each other, low commitment,
Okay.
right? Because Facebook is a social networking site,
Right.
right? Now what happens later is now you have all these friends, they engage with your posts, you chat up, you start relationships, chat people up, and then you'll find different ways to invite them to a one-on-one or an event or something. For the purposes of our conversation today, that's way too much to get into all that. It's covered in the course. I know you'll watch it. But I wanted to explain that to you so you know when we create these posts that the purpose is to connect and socially network first, and then we're going to see who's available. And, you know, with the reach issues on Facebook business pages, you're kind of looking at, right, like it's probably going to be pretty similar. The other thing to remember is that your personal page, from a connection perspective and an engagement perspective, is going to be way more forgiving because they already like you. Everyone wants to say that meeting with strangers is easier than working with people you know, but from a results perspective, it's not true. It might be easier for you because you're not so insecure, but that actually doesn't mean you make more sales because of it.
Okay.
There's a difference, right? If
Yeah.
you're at a vendor event and you talk to 5 strangers and you talk to one person you went to college with, which do you think is going to buy?
Your college friend.
Right?
Yeah.
Because you already have the trust
Right.
in there. So I think even if people are more comfortable, it has way more to do with their comfort level than I think results. And so I just want you to keep that in the back of your mind. Okay. Does that help so far?
Yes. Thank you.
So tell me what's going through your mind so far
Um,
that's helped.
well, I think I probably put too much of a stigma around contacting people that I know, but maybe haven't been in close communication with, because I always feel like if I'm reaching out to them that I'm doing it with the business, but I like thinking about it as just a social networking, not necessarily business networking. And then eventually it could maybe get around to the business networking.
Mm-hmm. And I will argue that as a network marketer, let me just repeat your title, your job is to socially network
Yes.
in addition to professionally network, which is why I think it's worthwhile to go this route. So let's talk about your boring day.
Okay.
I want you to walk me through, was yesterday boring?
Yeah, yesterday was probably pretty boring.
Great. Walk me through your boring day.
Um, so got up, we had cinnamon rolls and bacon for breakfast because
What'd you
it's a
have for
Sunday.
breakfast?
Cinnamon rolls and bacon, because my girls like to do something that's completely unhealthy on Sundays.
Okay.
And I did some weeding. We didn't go to church because,
You smoked weed on a
COVID.
Sunday?
I did.
I think you're talking about weeding
No,
in the garden.
I did weeding. I went outside and
Oh,
pulled weeds.
well, I'm from
No,
California, so
no, no.
this sounds
I
like pretty exciting day. You started with cinnamon rolls and bacon, then smoked some weed. The weeding in the garden.
No, just weeding in the garden because we've been having a wetter than normal spring. In fact, we're getting our monsoon already, and we're not supposed to get it for another 2 weeks. And so the rain has caused all of the weeds to grow like mad, and I have like things growing up and are popping up in places where I normally get absolutely nothing, and it's out of control. And so I told my kids I needed an hour of weeding from all of them in order to get everything under control.
How'd you get them to do that?
Um, well, I've been trying to get them to do it for like 3 weeks.
All right. So
So
how, like, what's the key? What's the like big tip to get kids to weed?
the key to get, I don't know, just we're doing it. You've been telling me, they've been telling me for like 3 weeks that they were going to help, and it is out of control. And I just said, you don't have an option anymore. You will weed for an hour tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. What else did you do after that?
So we've been watching Eureka as a family. So we watched an episode of that. We made homemade pizzas for dinner last night. And so our boring pizzas, actually that's not boring. So we have a favorite pizza place in Arizona. And last time, and every time we travel through Arizona, we stop and eat there because we love their pizza, but they stopped making our favorite 2 pizzas. So we've had to figure out a way to make them on our own. So we did that yesterday.
How long did it take you to get the recipe right?
This is our 3rd time making it, and I think we've got it pretty close now.
Okay. And then what? What'd you do after the pizza?
We just watch TV and
Well, what'd you watch?
We watched Eureka
Again.
again, yes, because we were at a cliffhanger and the kids cannot seem to handle, like we're used to waiting 6 months from the end of one season to the beginning of the next one.
Mm-hmm.
They can't survive, a day.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm taking a picture of your smile, which I'm sure you can hear if you're listening to the audio version. I didn't find that boring at all.
Okay. It feels boring to me.
Well, so here's why. It's because it's your everyday, but it's not mine.
Okay.
And, when we only post, I was working with a client this morning, we were talking about her social media, and she only posts when she's at the lake house. Because that's the only time she's like she's working and then she's having fun. And that's when she wants to post. And what we talked about was like, that's not super relatable because that's only like a couple days of her week. Right. And do we really want to only see people's highlight reels when we're on Facebook?
You've got me confused. We can only.
Do you enjoy only watching highlight reels, or do you enjoy the nitty gritty of the day to day?
Oh. Well, I guess like you said, because somebody else's day-to-day stuff is different than mine, then yeah, I enjoy watching the highlight reels, but I can't do that all day, every day.
Well, it triggers compare and despair.
Yeah.
It doesn't increase relatability, certainly. And what we're trying to do in social networking, right? So think about the times when you went and you met those ladies. You weren't like, let me tell you about my highlight reel. You were like, are you bored watching this too? Or whatever. Like, what game on your phone are you playing? Right? Those are the conversations that actually create social networking. You don't walk up to someone and say, let me tell you about my trip to Tahiti. Right? That's not how social networking really works. Now, of course, if you know someone, you're going to want to show them those highlights. But I really think it's a good mix. So let's look at a few different types of posts that you could take just from these particular things. So I'm just going to give you a bunch of ideas to help you think differently about your page. Okay. So I'm going to focus on 3 types of posts. Engagement posts, which are more like quick question, quick answer questions to spur conversation. Story posts, they're not the stories that disappear with the messages. They're like telling a story behind the scenes of what's happening. And then the third type of post is a value post. Think about the helpful Honda dealer. Okay. I'm not going to go into too much detail on call to actions or testimonial posts in this because you're going to get more than enough to work with right now for one step. Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm just going to go through a bunch of different types of engagement posts. Cinnamon rolls or Belgian waffles, which one would you prefer? That's not great. You can fix that. How many pieces of bacon is too many bacon? Too many pieces, asking for a friend.
Okay.
Today I went weeding. What image comes to mind?
Okay.
The monsoons or the early monsoons are making us crazy. Show us your biggest weeds in your garden.
Oh, really?
What?
Okay. No, just that seems crazy.
Why?
I would have never, I just would have never ever thought of doing something like that.
Well, would you
Ever.
engage with it?
I probably would. I'd probably go find my bigger weed to just show, oh yeah, you think you've got a weed? Let me show you mine.
It's fun. You see, like, careful, you might have fun on social media. I know you're like
Yeah.
determined to hate it, but we might, maybe not. All right. Do you prefer to weed alone or force your kids to do it with you?
Okay.
Our family is currently watching Eureka. What are you guys watching for when this is over?
Okay.
Best pizza place in New Mexico. Ready, go.
Okay.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, so now let's look at what kind of story post you could write. Now, you
Okay.
naturally communicate in stories. If you shift the pictures, you're gonna have some really good posts. So you could just say, we normally eat pretty healthy. On Sundays, it's like, here's a deal I made with my kids. Now, and you just tell the story about why are you eating cinnamon rolls and bacon when you're supposed to be in health and wellness. And just tell that story. Just make sure the picture includes you and your girls cooking.
Okay.
Okay. Now you don't have to post it right then and there. That's another thing. Like, I think a lot of people get really like, I don't want to ruin my moment by going and posting about it. Take the picture, post the next day and say, yesterday we made cinnamon rolls and bacon. No one's going to care.
Okay.
Right? I do this a lot. I don't write any of my posts real time. I'll take a picture and I'll come back later and I'll say, last week, here's something that happened. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares.
Okay.
So girls like to do something unhealthy. This is a picture, right? And then you're smiling. They're all posed with frowns. This is a picture of us weeding, and then tell that story.
Okay.
And then I think a third story could be our favorite pizza place in Arizona, blah, blah, blah. So now we tried to make our own pizza. It took us 3 tries, but we love it. I hope you guys are all doing well and enjoying your Sunday night. Doesn't even have to be like a hardcore ending there. And then you could do a picture of you with an exasperated face with one of your younger children. How old are they?
My youngest is 13.
13. Okay, with them being confused face, you exasperated, and just saying, this is me trying to explain to my kid what it's like waiting 6 months for season 2.
Okay.
Right? And just go into the details of that, because last week I had to explain to my 10-year-old why we say hang up the phone.
Okay.
Right? Because of the phone used to hang up on the wall to turn off. Pick up the phone, hang up like, that doesn't make any sense to them. They have no idea what that means. And we all have moments and they're super relatable. Okay, good?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Value post,
You
right?
make me
Something
sound
that,
interesting.
yeah, I think you're super interesting. I'm having a good time. I'm like super late for my next meeting too. It's all good. I'm having a good time. So,
No. Okay.
value post. So what would be helpful? So you could take the same picture with your kids making the cinnamon rolls, right? And share the recipe. Friends, we do unhealthy once a week. We have cinnamon rolls. Here's our recipe. I hope you guys have an awesome day. Right?
Okay.
We're baking bacon instead of frying it. Who knew that was so life-changing? For reals. Also another engagement post, frying or baking your bacon.
That is a good one.
Do you have some sort of special concoction that you use when weeding? I don't know. I don't weed.
No.
I hire gardeners.
No, we're just pulling out the weeds. I do need to come up with something to keep the weeds from growing.
Okay,
But,
so that actually could be an engagement post. Friends, best ideas to keep weeds from growing so fast. Help a sister out.
okay.
Nice post. Okay, another value post is, we had this great like favorite pizza in Arizona. Couldn't figure it out. We figured it out. Let me know in the comments if you'd like the recipe. I'll send it to you in Messenger so you don't lose it. Technically call to action.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
right? So now we can start to add value to our people. And by using a yesterday, last week, whatever, you can actually plan the next weeks of posts from one boring Sunday and just post them that day. You can't schedule them, unfortunately, right? But you could just go, yesterday we were gardening. What's your best tip to keep things from coming back, right? Tomorrow can be, I was talking to a friend yesterday, you can use me, and we were talking about how we made cinnamon rolls. We eat unhealthy once a week. Here's why, la, la, la. And now you have a story post, right? And you can just continue to do that for the week until you have another boring day, which should give you fodder for weeks. What do you think?
It's amazing how you can take one day, and I mean that's like more than a week's worth of content right there. That's crazy.
Now the key is to flesh out the stories behind the scenes and to throw your face in the pictures, right? So the picture of your daughter, 18, you needed to be in there, right? Your engagement would have doubled or tripled if you were in the picture with her, because your friends and family are scanning for your face, not hers.
Okay.
Right? And so if you're social networking, right, just throw yourself in the picture. It's pretty simple to do and give a little bit more behind the scenes on how you're feeling about that thing.
Okay.
Right? And that's it. Just your arm around her is a picture she's going to cherish for the rest of her life. Get your freaking face in the picture. She doesn't want a picture, right, in 10 years. On her wedding slideshow, she doesn't want a picture of her by herself with her balloons. She wants a picture of you and her with the balloons. So I hope those balloons are still there, and you better go take a picture.
That's true.
Right?
You're right. Yeah,
kids will
they are.
complain about that. They don't have pictures of them with their
mom. Interesting. Okay.
Right? So hop in the picture. All right. How do we do?
We did great. Thank you.
So give me a couple of takeaways. What'd you find helpful?
Well, my life isn't as boring as I thought. And I can certainly I think if I take some time and start asking myself some questions about what we're doing and why we're doing it and how we're doing it, I think I could probably find a lot more content than I realize, because I'm always waiting for something big to happen to be worthy of posting on Facebook. And it sounds like there's a lot more there in my life than I realized.
Yeah. Crazy. Social media coaching is pretty much therapy, huh?
It is. Thank you, Tasha.
Cyndi, thank you so much as we wrap up here. Is there anything that you want to share? I mean, you have the Emerge platform right now. Anything you want to share with the people?
Well, if they don't already have Emerge, they definitely need it. I think that the coaching that we get from you guys is just amazing. The information, the way you break it down and really help us to think about things is just phenomenal. It's unlike anything else that's out there.
Oh, that's kind. That's not, I'll take it though. All right. That was like, could you please plug us? But I'll take that as your parting words. Thank you so much for being vulnerable and allowing me to coach you in a public forum. I hope that is helpful for you and can't wait to see what happens.
All right. Thanks, Tasha.